Welcome to Let Me Catch You Up, the podcast where I explain reality TV to my husband.
And I ask a lot of questions.
I'm Liz, a longtime Bravo watcher who's been following Summer House for years.
And I'm Pat, a casual observer who's been in the room, sometimes paying attention.
Each week, we're recapping the latest episode of Summer House, breaking down the drama, the relationships, and everything you might have missed. Whether you've watched every episode,
or you're just trying to keep up.
We're here to catch you up. Let's get into it. And we are back to talk about Summer House Season 10, Episode 8, titled Sleeping on It. Yeah, before we dive into the episode, though, my little updates of what I saw on the interwebs this week or on TV. KJ was on Watch What Happens Live after last week's episode. Nothing too crazy from that episode, but it is clear that him and Dara are still together, which was
Nice.
cute to see. Yeah, she was in the audience, and I think they said that they say I love you to each other. So seems like they're going strong.
So how long is it? Oh, I guess that's a dumb question. That was in the summer and now it's March. So, okay. I figured it out.
So however many months that is, do the math.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk about Kyle's silk scarf. I was correct. It was something to do with West. I saw on Instagram that West had like a collab with some scarf maker. And I guess West's dad growing up always wore like scarves on the farm or something. So when West wore it in previous seasons, maybe that was a nod to his dad or something. But Kyle was wearing that scarf. I saw a picture like comparing him to who's the guy from Scooby-Doo.
I want to say Fred, but what does that not sound like when I say it out loud?
Yeah, it is Fred.
Okay. That's spot on, especially with like the hair and everything. He actually looks like him without the scarf.
Totally. Other updates, a bunch of the cast was on. Like it looked like a group Hot Ones almost. They were playing wing roulette and answering different questions and stuff. It was fun. Lindsay said that Dara was the most there for fame and that KJ was the most there for love, but it seems like they're dating for real, so who knows?
We can get into it when we get into the episode, but I feel like for absolutely no reason that I can tell, Lindsay seems to have it out for Dara. Maybe I'm making that up in my head, but
yeah, who knows? Maybe there's some off-camera drama or something. Yeah. My last update I saw today on Radio Andy. Sometimes they like post clips from his radio show. And
wait, this is Andy?
Andy Cohen.
He has a radio show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on.
I'm just here to ask questions. I don't know.
But Andy was saying, because I guess they see the episode obviously earlier than when it airs. So he was like saying that he thinks this episode was Kyle's worst episode ever in 10 seasons.
That's a low bar.
Yeah. I don't know. Based on the amount of like meltdowns and tantrums he's had, I'd have to go back and like watch all the old seasons to really say whether or not I agree. But it definitely was not a good episode for him.
Yeah.
Any updates from your algorithm this week?
Well, I can't think if you forwarded those to me or if I just happened to see them, but I definitely saw those things. I saw the Scooby-Doo thing. Was it Hot Ones or was it like a spin-off or did they just try to like copy that format? I don't know. But I saw that video too.
In the bio on Instagram, it says, okay, so First We Feast is a broader umbrella, I guess, and Hot Ones is included in it. Something like that. Okay. Glad we figured that out.
Yeah. Mystery
Very
solved.
important. Yeah. But yeah, no other updates from your algorithm this week?
No. That's about it. 99% of my videos are golf related, so.
Sure. Well, let me know when there's the Summer House golf content crossover. I'm sure that'll be first on your feed.
I'm here for it.
So yeah, why don't we dive into the episode? I have a note from the very first frame. I'm curious if you picked up on this.
Are you like pausing these? I didn't go frame by frame. I will say there was a part where I went back and rewound it a few times. When we get there, I'll talk about that. But the very first frame.
Yeah. The episode picks up kind of where we left off. And they were out to dinner on a Friday. And it says Friday, July 31st, 10:09 p.m. But the last episode said it was August 1st when they were going out. And I was like, what the hell? Did they make a mistake? So I even looked at the calendar July 31st in 2025 was a Thursday, not a Friday. And then the next day they said it was Saturday, August 2nd. So they just made a mistake in their editing.
Okay. Continuity error.
Yeah. I was like, what is this? I swear it said August. Like, I remember thinking, oh, we're already into August.
I do vividly remember you saying August. So yeah. Okay.
But yeah, they show a little montage of them going out, but there's nothing of major note in that montage. Lindsay's having a good time. They get back at 12:38 a.m. and they like are all barging in. Lindsay's like, I need to go to bed. It seems like everybody's like having fun. Everybody's pretty rowdy. Ben's carrying Amanda. He's like, I got a package. KJ like falls into the house. Did you see that?
He
There was like
fell into the house?
it was like he was
Oh
like
yeah, no, I did see that. I did see that.
uh
Kind of
Kyle
stumbling,
started.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it
Yeah.
didn't, it kind of looked like on purpose. I don't know. Looked like he was being silly. Kyle
Yeah.
is wearing a crown and DJing in Club Send It. Sierra's rolling around. So that kicked off at 12:38 a.m. And then by 1:02 a.m., everybody's like out by the pool hanging out and Kyle's by himself. Like, where'd everybody go?
Right. So this whole scene, this is where I kind of like went back and rewound because I was like, I must have missed a scene or a conversation or a comment where somebody was mean to Kyle, and it
Yeah.
didn't happen. At least not from what they show.
No, like we talked a little bit last episode where there was kind of just this like little bit of
Yeah.
simmering tension between Kyle and Amanda, but I also kind of felt like they were probably just editing it to like make it
Yeah.
seem like that because it was gonna build to this week, but who knows?
Right.
Yeah, so it's 1 a.m. I think it's Amanda, Jesse, West, Ben, Sierra, and Mia like out by the pool hanging out, and Kyle's like feeling sorry for himself. I'm literally all by myself. They ditched me. And he's like, I feel isolated and alone. Then the next note I have is it's 2, so it's like an hour later, 2:01 a.m., not 2 a.m. And it looks like Kyle's like holding a Sonos speaker. Shout out to
Yep.
Sonos. It looks like the speaker we have.
It's definitely
And
Sonos because later on they show the closet and he's got the Sonos subwoofer. Yeah, he's got all the Sonos stuff.
yeah, so at this point, it's Ben, Sierra, Amanda, and West still hanging out like an hour later.
Mhm.
And Kyle comes out with the speaker and is like blasting a song. It reminded me of like a little kid being annoying, trying to like get attention from his parents, like
Yeah.
randomly. And
That was that was awkward.
yeah, Sierra's just like, I've had enough. And like, I think Kyle turns off the music. And then this is when we get Kyle's first tantrum of the episode. And Kyle's like, way to support me to Amanda. And then they're like, what? And she's like, wait, did you just say I like wasn't being a supportive wife? And that's when Kyle's like, fuck you. And he storms off.
Yeah.
I
It
almost like missed it because it like happened so quick and was like so
right.
bizarre.
So once he made that comment, I I rewound and I was like, all right, something was boiling up and all it was just him, you know, in on the DJ floor by himself,
Yeah.
kind of saying
People
I'm
weren't
lonely.
dancing with him long enough.
Right.
Unfortunately, he did not get a personal invitation delivered on a silver platter to come hang out with them by the pool. So he was upset.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess obviously he's drunk, so he's probably in his own head thinking they didn't want to do like the dance scene. I don't know. But
But they did that.
then
They did all that stuff. And then they're like, okay, let's
yeah.
hang out.
Well, they did it for like 20 minutes or whatever. He was probably thinking,
I don't
he
know.
wanted to do that longer. I don't know. But then when he goes outside with the speaker, they make it seem like he's blasting the music
Yeah.
outside. And they were just kind of like hanging out, talking, having a conversation outside. So if he had just gone out there and talked with them, maybe they would have hung out longer, but he just completely ruined the vibe. But it was just very childish behavior. And then,
Yeah. It escalated very quickly.
yeah,
And everybody's shocked. And
right.
Amanda, she's immediately like, okay, let's just all go to bed. She just wants to sweep it under the rug, act like it didn't happen. Sierra's kind of comforting Amanda. And she's like, I just don't want this to be a thing. We're going to celebrate his birthday tomorrow. It is what it is. And I think what I took from this is she's tried to address these types of things many times. she doesn't get anywhere with Kyle. It just creates more of a fight and blow ups, and it'll just be more pain for her in the end. So she's kind of just like, whatever, I'm done with this.
Right. Yeah, I agree. She kind of summarized it by saying it's not going to be productive to
Yeah.
address his childish behavior. So, but that's a red flag.
Yeah, totally.
You're getting verbally abused by your husband, and it's I can't address it because then it's just going to make a big fight. So let's just go to bed.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, she later
so
says to Wes, this is calm for Kyle. This is nothing.
right, yeah. It kind of makes you wonder. I mean,
When cameras aren't there, what is he doing?
yeah, yeah. And I'm not suggesting anything or whatever. Who knows? But
Yeah.
that was an alarming comment that she was like, "Oh, this is tame for him." So
Yeah. And so Kyle storms off, and Ben kind of goes to find him. And he's like, where did that come from? That seemed like it came out of nowhere. And Kyle, has no justification. How much did you see Amanda talking to me today? She said 5 words to me tonight. And Ben's like, what do you say to her?
right,
Um,
he kind of trailed off.
she was hanging out with all of us all night. And Kyle's like, not me. Wah. And Ben's like, okay, but where were you? Like, you could have come to hang out. And then Kyle's just like, well, all I do is get shut down. Just a bunch of BS nonsense.
And to Amanda's credit, that's what happens when you try rationalizing with Kyle when he's drunk.
Yeah.
So it didn't really get anywhere. This is drunk Kyle the next day. He kind of defends himself even when he's sober. And he's like, I'm really sorry that I said fuck you to my wife, but she's been needling me. And they kind of do the montage and all that of all the comments. So yeah, he's definitely not remorseful.
Definitely not. When they show his confessional the next morning and he's like, I can only go so long getting the cold shoulder and getting small but steady jabs. There's no excuse, but here's my excuse.
There's no excuse, but here's my excuse.
And, they show the flashbacks of like a couple of different, like, oh, I'm in my no patience era. She's like, oh, yeah, I don't miss Kyle. He thinks he's funny, but he's not. I think, and who knows, like, what specific jabs he was referring to, because obviously they just edit in something to kind of explain what he's talking about. But I was thinking about, like, everybody vents about their partner here and there sometimes, like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and a lot of what she's doing is just joking or venting. And, unfortunately, it's on reality TV. So he then sees it back. And I'm sure that doesn't feel good. But it's not like she's doing something that's so crazy.
Right. There's a lot to that. Part of it's just her sense of humor. I think
Yeah,
even if she was in a very healthy and steady relationship, I think she would still make those kind of comments about her partner. That's just kind of how she jokes. And yeah, reality television is, I don't know. If you were on reality TV, do you think you would go back and watch the episodes? I feel like it would be
I think it would be
tough.
healthy not to, but sometimes you kind of have a responsibility to like know what's going on so
To
that,
be self aware and yeah,
well, yeah. And how they have like the reunions and stuff. If you don't watch the show, then you have
yeah,
no idea what's going on when they like ask you about it later. But yeah,
yeah.
maybe you watching parts of it, but that would be hard to like have thick enough skin. But he says stuff about Amanda all the time too,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
he is annoying. So
Right.
he needs to be more self-aware too.
Yeah. It wouldn't be good reality TV if she just didn't make any comments on his
Yeah.
behavior.
But yeah, so anyway, back to that night. Wes checks on Amanda and he's like, oh, this is really the first time I've seen this side of Kyle like completely unprovoked going off. But I was like, this is not unusual behavior for Kyle. Like, we've seen this. It's just maybe instead of him saying it completely unprovoked, him and Amanda had an argument and then he does it. But it's like, I don't know. I just was kind of like, now this is like unacceptable behavior as compared to, a couple episodes ago when he got interrupted doing a toast and threw a tantrum and stormed off.
Right. I kind of honed in on that also. It seemed like West was really hung up on that it was unprovoked. Like Amanda said, in terms of Kyle blow ups, I thought this was kind of tame.
It can be more like menacing and scary when someone is calmer and being really mean. I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh, but anyway, Amanda, yeah, this is when Amanda's talking to Wes and she starts to cry a little and she's like, yeah, this is actually calm for him. I love him, but he's constantly making excuses. So then Wes tells Kyle to apologize. Like, nothing happened. You just walked up and said, fuck you for no reason. And this is when Kyle says, she gave me fuck you eyes.
Great.
And Wes is like, no, she didn't. And Kyle's like, all right, I'll say sorry, which was definitely not a good apology. Which it was interesting. So Kyle comes in and Amanda's like in the bathroom getting ready, and like you don't see her, but you hear she's like, hey, I'm just washing up for bed, kind of like tiptoeing, like not
She
trying
doesn't
to.
want to talk about it
Yeah,
necessarily, but yeah.
yeah. But then Kyle's like, I'm sorry for saying fuck you, but I just don't feel like you've paid attention to me. I don't feel like you make an effort with me. So, like, again, it's these apologies with a qualifier.
Right.
And then Amanda's like, well, what would you define as making an effort? And he's like, conversing, talking. And Amanda's like, well, what do you expect me to be doing when we're hanging out with friends? Like, not hanging out with the friends? Like, do you want me to only be like, the way that I'm interpreting it is like, are you expecting me to like only be talking to you even when all of our friends are around? And Kyle's like, instead of hanging out with every one of my friends, maybe just hanging out with me. Amanda's like, okay, so you want me to hang out with you while you're hanging out with all the random people? So I guess when they're like out at bars and stuff,
Yeah.
the group is like hanging and then Kyle is like mingling with randos. And Kyle says, I only hang out with strangers because you like literally ignore me. And she's like, no, that's not what you just said. You basically said you want me to only hang out with you when we're with all of our friends.
I truly don't know what he's talking about. Like I don't know what he wants. Like he's obviously upset.
He's got a lot of emotions he's having trouble managing.
Yeah.
He has his second tantrum and calls her a dumbass bitch. And he says,
Uh,
like, you ignore me all night long with your friends. You prefer our friends over me. So he's jealous of the friends, but like, I get the sense that he's not investing in the relationship or trying to be her friend any other time outside of filming on the weekends during the summer.
right.
So maybe that's like the crux of the issue. Like, because she even, at some point, he says, like, you spent more time with West in the last 6 months than me, or he says that to
I think he
West or
says it to
something.
West. Yeah.
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 And like, okay, but whose fault is that, Kyle? Like, you've been DJing every weekend.
Right.
What?
Yeah. If there's something that you're going to complain about in your relationship, it's not how much time is being spent with your partner because
I
you're
mean,
not innocent in
honestly,
that.
like, if you think about it, she's so used to him not being around that she's just living her life like normal. Like, these are her
Right.
friends that she's taking. I don't know.
Well, he complains when she goes to bed and like doesn't come out and party with all
Yeah.
the friends, and then when she's out partying with all the friends, he complains that she's not just like one on one with him. So I think he's just gonna complain no matter what she does. I think
Yeah.
he's just upset about stuff and he takes it out on her.
Yeah. And then Kyle and Wes talk a little more. And this is when we get again him saying, there's always a fuck you. And Wes is like, she literally didn't say that.
Right.
uh so yeah, then Wes and Kyle talk a little bit and Kyle's like, she hates me, I'm so over this. And then it kinda like they go to sleep. Like Kyle threatens to sleep in another bed, but I don't think he actually does. And then we get to the next morning and it's Saturday, August 2nd. So we go from July 31st to August 2nd. We time travel.
Is August 2nd correct then? Are we caught
Yes.
up on the
Yes.
timeline? Okay.
Yeah, we're
All right.
back. We're back.
This
The
is
space
important.
time continuum has reshifted back into alignment.
Good.
Uh, Lindsay FaceTimes Gemma. Jesse and Wes are chatting. Wes wants to sauna. Did you hear that?
I missed that.
Maybe there's a sauna at the gym they go to because they go to the gym later.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like, oh, does the summer house have a sauna?
Yeah.
It's possible it has one, but uh, then they show Kyle in bed. That's when he talks about like all the jabs, and that's why like he has no excuse, but here's his excuse. I think we already really kind of covered that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the next morning we see Mia and Sierra debrief also about last night's dinner conversation. And Mia is like really happy that Sierra brought it up and was able to kind of explain what her experience has been dating guys and being the first black castmate and being in interracial relationships on TV. And Sierra's like, I'm surprised I didn't cry more. And Mia was like, I appreciated that, our white castmates held space for the conversation and didn't interject. And they're like, this conversation isn't going to change the world, but it's nice that our castmates that we like are real friends with are supportive and acknowledging this and listening. So it was a nice little wrap up to the conversation from last week's episode. And Mia's like, I really appreciate you said something, and it made both her and KJ feel seen. And then they're like, oh, we love KJ. And Sierra's like, I would kill for KJ.
She looked serious.
I like their friendship. Mia's been a really good addition.
Yeah, totally.
Uh, then we get Lindsay and Amanda in the kitchen, and first they kind of recap dinner. They talk about Carl and Lindsay's convo, and then Lindsay's like, "Oh, how was the rest of your night?" And I'm like, "Is this actually an innocent comment?" Because Amanda's like, "You didn't hear anything," and Lindsay's like, "Oh, no, I sleep really heavy," which I kind of find that hard to believe, but
Because she just had a baby, or
yeah,
yeah. Another thing that you sent me on Instagram was that thing about how basically women after having a baby are biologically,
we're biologically changed to
yeah,
not be as heavy of a sleepover. I I did not fact check that Instagram post, so
yeah.
yeah,
It
could be
checks out though,
yeah.
at least from our experience.
Yeah, but yeah, Amanda just talks about how Kyle was being mean and throwing it, fit. And Lindsay's like, what was he so upset about? Amanda's just like, I don't know. He's upset I'm not hanging out with him. And Lindsay's like, God damn it, Kyle. And Amanda's, she's like, I know he's stressed out going through his own stuff, but like, I didn't treat him like this when I was going through my hard times and my depression. And Amanda's like, but we're going to make it a great day. It's his birthday. She's going to compartmentalize. She's excited to see what he looks like in his old costume. And she's excited to also dress as an old woman.
Right.
Which, like, yeah, I mean, back to Kyle and Amanda. He does seem, he's extremely stressed. And we talk later about, the financial issues with Loverboy. That's not an excuse to be an asshole to your wife
Mm.
constantly.
Yeah.
He should at least take responsibility for his actions and apologize for real.
Right. Yeah, come to think of it, I don't know if I've ever seen him make a true apology and then just end it.
Yeah. Yeah. And Sierra and Mia are still talking a little bit, and they also talk about Kyle and Amanda. And Sierra's, I'm so over the way he speaks to her. And she's like, my gut reaction is you cannot have kids with him, which I agree. That would not go well. And Mia's like, yeah, it's unacceptable. What do you think is keeping them together? And Sierra's like, bitch, I don't know.
Yeah.
Then we have the scene with KJ and Lindsay. So KJ's bringing in groceries, and
Yeah.
he's already like in his head a little bit that, like Dara's coming. I think like this is the first time she'll be at the house since they started dating. He's not really sure what to expect. Later, he talks a little bit about also some of the being in his head's also from the conversation at dinner the night before about like dating on reality TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Lindsay's like, oh, I knew Ben and her also flirted. And KJ's like, yeah, but it didn't mean anything to her. And Lindsay's like, yeah, so what did they talk about in his room for an hour? And KJ's like, what? And Lindsay's like, oh, you didn't know?
Yeah, I don't like this. I like Lindsay, but she's just stirring the pot too much. I just think that's a low blow. I don't know.
I don't know. She's repeating information she got from Bailey. So she's doing her job as a reality TV
Yeah, yeah.
castmate. So I can't be too mad at her. And I'm curious if she thought he actually knew or not.
No, I don't think so. I think she knew exactly what she was doing.
Yeah.
The way she phrased it, like the inflection in her voice and
Yeah.
everything, she was trying to get a rise out of him. Like, what do you think they were doing in there for an hour? That's strange. And I just like KJ, so I felt bad for him, and it made me feel uncomfortable. So I just didn't like that scene.
Yeah. But yeah, so KJ's now like, oh my God, is Dara not telling me the truth? Then we see Amanda starting to like direct things to set up for the party. And I feel like it's just like a theme throughout the episode is Amanda struggling to set everything up and directing everybody around. And I'm like, she's doing so much. Like for Kyle's birthday after he was such a jerk to her last night.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to do that if I was like really happy.
Yeah, it
Like
does
just a
look like a lot of
regular.
work. Yeah.
It looks like so much work. I'm like, I don't know if I would do that for you. And I'm not mad at you.
One of my favorite parts, because I feel like this is relatable. She's like, "Can I get some help here? Like bringing stuff in?" And he's like, "Hey, babe, I'm just trying to take the trash out." He just like has to like make it known, like I am doing something.
Yeah. Yeah. We also get a little funny side thing when Ciara comes to the kitchen and sees Lindsay, and they're like, "Ooh, I love your outfit." And Lindsay's like, "Oh yeah, I wore zebra to F with Carl." I'm just kidding. Ha ha ha. Then we see like a flashback of, yeah, Carl loves zebra, and then Wesley Stripes makes another appearance, uh,
Right.
who I told you about in previous episodes.
Yeah.
I feel like there was multiple like moments of Lindsay being like super extra this episode,
Yeah.
but that's why we love her. Um, Also, we get a quote from Amanda while they're setting up for the party. What if we gave everyone Viagra today and they all had boners the whole party? That was funny. Good one, Amanda.
Yeah.
We get a little heart to heart with Carl and KJ, and it's just, KJ's worried about Dara and he's in his head. And Carl's like, yeah, that's what happens if you have any sort of relationship while you're
Yeah.
in this house. Everybody's going to comment about it and get involved.
I think that was actually some kind of wise advice from Carl. Just basically saying, like, just remember this is reality TV.
Yeah.
Don't take it too seriously and just try to keep your head steady. So,
Yeah, I agree. And then we have Ben, Jesse, and West chatting about like Kyle and Amanda's fight. And then Sierra also comes over. And West, he's like, Kyle's this fucking idiot. West, he recaps what happened. And then Sierra's like, yeah, Amanda's going to put on a happy face after he cursed her out last night. I don't know how she does that because if I'm pissed off, everyone knows. And West is like, yeah, we know. Then we learned Ben went to Loverboy to check it out. I wasn't sure, was he saying like he went to actually go to Loverboy or did he actually just like dig into their finances? Like,
I thought he
was there
said
some
he
like,
physically went to Loverboy, so I
but
don't know
then
what
they
that
showed
means.
West. Then it looked like West, was it West was at Loverboy chatting with him? Because they showed Kyle talking about cash reserves. And I'm pretty sure it was West in that conversation.
Hmm.
Whatever.
Maybe they
Doesn't
both went.
matter.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ben's like, I didn't realize he personally guaranteed a $4 million loan, and there's $2 million left on that loan. So if Loverboy goes under, he's bankrupt. Yeah, just like that's dumb. Why did you do that, Kyle? Why didn't you just get like investors?
Well, yeah, and then they said that it was when it was like really successful, so he kind of just bet heavy on himself.
Mm-hmm.
And is it a successful company? I mean, I don't. Do you see it at the liquor store ever or anything? Like, I'm not sure.
I haven't seen it at a ton of places near us.
Yeah.
I saw he's been advertising. There's like Flower Boy or something. It's like their THC drink now, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
So maybe they're trying to lean into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They talk about having challenges with like distribution, and so maybe stores are dropping it if it's not selling as well. But
Hmm.
anyway, Sierra's like, okay, it's not an excuse. Just I understand if he's stressed out about money and his business, but that's not an excuse. And she's like, I feel like they should separate. It's kind of hitting a breaking point. It's clear they resent each other. I'm not saying they have to legally separate, but they should take a beat, separate, and see if it helps so that they can kind of clear their heads and then be able to talk about the issues. She's like, you can't keep sweeping things under the rug. And they both deserve to be happy. And I'm sure Sierra, who's really good friends with Amanda, knows a lot more than a lot of people about what goes on in the relationship.
Well, and the guys are kind of shocked to hear all that. I think that's kind of for them maybe the first time that they're realizing that that's on the table or that's being
Yeah.
discussed at all. The tone gets a little bit more serious, and I think the guys are thrown off a little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then we get kind of intermixed people doing more setup for the party, and like the scooters come out and the
Yeah.
walkers, and
Hmm.
people are having fun on those. And then Dara arrives. She's back with her suitcase. And I was like, does that suitcase have a cast bio? Like, I think I've seen that suitcase more than Dara at this point. But KJ's immediately like acting weird when she comes in.
Yeah. I'm surprised that she didn't say anything because it was very. I didn't see him give her a hug or a kiss or anything. He just kind of like was like, "Oh, hey, I'm in the refrigerator."
I
So
also thought, I was like, how long ago was his conversation with Lindsay? Because he's still putting groceries away. It,
I mean, maybe it was minutes ago. I don't know. It
yeah.
was felt like a lot of stuff happened in between, but who knows what the timeline was? Maybe like he
So,
literally just got done talking to her, and he's like, man,
so they might, they could edit it out of order because at 11:19 a.m. that was shown before KJ and Lindsay had the conversation, and then they showed it's an hour later, and that's when Lindsay's like, "Oh, I wore zebra just to mess with Carl." And then we have like all of those other conversations we just talked about. So who knows? Maybe they edited it out of order, or maybe he took a break from groceries and went back to groceries. I don't know.
it looked very involved. So maybe he was doing that
Yeah,
for like an hour and a half. I don't know.
yeah. Apparently the fridge is really full. They
It
need
did look
a
very full.
extra refrigerator.
Yeah,
Actually, a house that big probably has a second fridge.
they probably yeah. Maybe they're both full. Yeah, yeah. I have a random reality TV question. This is another tangent. Whenever they show them texting, like he was texting Dara when she was on her way, and he's like, "Hey, see you soon." She's like, "Okay, can't wait." Are they just making that shit up? Or do they actually get their phones and see like what they
So,
are like texting about?
okay. So they talked about this in relation to Below Deck. I
Uh,
don't know if you remember, but a lot of times they'll show like texts on their phones too. Aisha, I don't know if she was on a podcast or Watch What Happens Live or something, but somebody asked her about this, and she basically said that if you let your phone be seen by it, like phone screen be seen by the cameras are so good that they just
and
zoom
zoom
into your
in and
phone
capture.
and then
Okay,
they capture it. So you have to be really careful
if it's actually a
potentially on the
secret,
show.
yeah,
Yeah.
got it. I thought you were gonna say because I was wondering if they actually give them access to it or something because there
No,
was
I
that
don't
whole
think
thing on
so.
Below Deck. Was it Hannah or somebody forgot to sign out of the iPad or whatever, and then they got
Oh,
busted for
hooking up with the primary.
yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Hannah. Okay,
tangent
so
over.
back to Summer House. Yeah, so Katie's acting a little off. Katie's like, "Oh, I'm in work mode. I'm helping set up." So she's kind of dives into helping set up too. And then Kyle is like, "Ugh, I'm in a weird mood. I overthink things, letting my happiness get hijacked." And then he says, "I'm not sure what set me off." And I'm like, so he does remember at least enough to know that he got set off over nothing, essentially. And he's like, "I'm not able to articulate anything. I give Amanda these perfect instances of where I mess up. I storm off, I say F you, I stay out late. But there are so many fundamental things wrong with the foundation of our relationship, but I'm just unrelatable." So, like, he's kind of saying, I screw up all the time. So I give Amanda a lot of like reasons to criticize me, but there's a lot wrong with our relationship. And I feel really isolated. This was kind of just a whole weird confessional from him.
Yeah,
But the weirdest part was he's like, I feel like I should just give up, but I've invested so much in my relationship and my business that doesn't feel like an option. I'm just trying to hold on. And I was like, are you talking about Loverboy or your marriage? Like, why are you talking about both all of a sudden?
yeah. He's clearly got Loverboy and his financial woes and all that are in his head constantly. So it does feel like you can't separate the two.
Yeah. But then we get back to they're setting up the living room outside for the party to look
Mhm.
like a grandma's
With
house.
the grandfather clock and everything.
Yeah. And the crocheted blankets. Again, so much work. They're moving lazy boys and couches around.
Yeah.
There's way too much work.
Yeah. Why not? I mean, you could just do the costumes. That would be plenty in my
Um,
mind, but
I feel like at this point they kind of have to up the ante every season with
yeah.
really good parties. So I get it,
Yeah.
but I would hire movers or something.
Right.
Then we get a conversation with Sierra, Mia, and KJ, and Sierra's like, "Oh, I gotta go paint my titties now." KJ's like, "What?"
he, he was so confused. He's like, "What does that mean?"
And then, yeah, we learned that Sierra is reviving her Karma Brown character from a few seasons ago, and it's like her alter ego. Then KJ just shares a little bit about how he's worried about the whole Dara situation, and Sierra's essentially like, you got to go for it. Don't be scared. Like if you really like her, don't deprive yourself of this just because you're scared of getting hurt. And Mia's like, we're here for you. So that was good little pep talk for KJ.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like making it into a whole thing, but I feel like they quickly squash it once he talks to
Totally.
Dara.
Yeah. I think he just needed to have that conversation with her one on one, and I think he was just kind of anxious about it because he knew he was gonna bring it up, and he was like, I gotta find the right time to do it. But once they started talking, I think it went well. Dara's got a little bit of a fire in her though, because she's like really looking forward to bringing it up with Bailey. So
Yeah,
we'll see how that goes. Well, we saw a preview of how that goes. So
yeah, totally. Yeah, I was like, oh, she's really fired up to confront Bailey. We have a makeup artist that arrives to do Kyle's makeup, and Amanda's like, it's gonna take 90 minutes, so you better get in here. Again, she's like doing the most. Like, I'm sure she was the one that set up this makeup artist. Um, yeah, Katie and Dara have their chat, but essentially she's like, my suitcase again, this extra cast member, was in Ben's room, so she went in his room, she changed, and she came out of his room. She's like, nothing crazy happened. She understands why KJ was worried, and seems like they have good communication, so that's nice to see.
yeah, totally.
And and then we transitioned to people getting into their costumes. So this was pretty good. West is Mrs. Doubtfire. That's good. I really liked Amanda and Mia's butts. They have like
Yeah.
pillows stuffed in their butts.
Yeah, Mia's butt was like popping up and then she like sat
Yeah.
down on it and it got all screwed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amanda looks great. She's got like a wig on and glasses. Lindsay, again, she's doing the most. She's like, Carl, did you spray your hair gray because you got so many compliments before when you did it? Ha 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 ha.
She's coming off a little bit psycho in some of those
Yeah,
comments.
that came
And
off like manic. I was like, what is going on?
it came off manic and then it also kind of just fell flat. Like nobody
Yeah,
laughed. So then she just filled the dead air with her like cackle.
yeah. I was disappointed in Jesse. I felt
Yeah,
like
Jesse
everybody,
looked young.
yeah, like he just
And
looked
then
like he put some gray paint on his like beard, maybe, and he wore like
yeah.
clothes that maybe a grandpa would wear, but it was a little bit lackluster for me.
Yeah, I feel like he didn't put the effort in, but they didn't show Ben enough. What was Ben wearing? Was he dressed up as like an old woman or something? Was he the one with the curlers? I was getting confused with their
Honestly, I
other
didn't even
friend.
notice where he was, so
I was trying to like find him, but I got confused. Their other friends were there, so there was another guy in the mix, and like I think it was the other guy that had a mustache or something.
the other guy has a
So
hat and a mustache.
yeah, okay, so that was not Ben. So I think Ben was
Oh yeah,
dressed up
Ben
as like
is
an old
wearing a
woman.
dress. Yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
okay.
He's wearing like
But
a purple.
they didn't show him enough. I was like
Yeah.
I wanted to get a feel for like what everybody's costumes were, but I couldn't see his.
I'm sure we'll see more next
Yeah,
week.
the party's still ongoing. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, oh, and we see Kyle. Kyle's makeup came out good. He's looking the part. And then they're kind of like, oh, where's Sierra? So then we get Sierra.
Walking down the
Like,
stairs backwards.
yeah, she's backing down the stairs in character, like, Jesus. And she's got like oxygen tank
Yeah.
tubes coming out of her nose. And then we see her prosthetic boobs hanging out of a bikini. She's like, I need a cigarette. It's so good.
It's the best costume I've ever seen. It was great.
It's like she kind of looks like out of like a Tyler Perry movie or something.
Yeah. So did she just do all that by herself? I don't. That's crazy.
I don't know.
And what were the
Because,
boobs made out of? Because I think it was like
well,
Amanda asked, what's is there water in there?
yeah. And she's like, nope, these are all natural. Uh, well, I don't know if it's on Instagram, but I did see a picture of West wearing the boobs. So it was like almost like a vest
Okay.
that kind of, it was like sleeveless. So like if you can imagine like fake skin from like the neck down with the boobs attached to it that like you put on like a vest. I don't know.
Is this like
I don't know.
something you can buy? I'm not gonna Google this right now, but
Yeah, great question.
yeah,
I'm also curious, like she has like a prosthetic face on. So like
yeah.
yeah, where did she get that?
I don't
Maybe
know.
maybe a really good costume store or something, or the internet. You can get anything on the internet, but
Who knows? But yeah, it came out really
very
good.
yeah, it came out great. And yeah, so we see everybody cheers. Amanda's like, "Cheers to Summer House season 53," which was
They
a
take the
good.
shot out of the medicine bottles. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so then the party officially starts. So we see some hijinks. Mia is in character. She drops her cigarette and she's like, "Ah, I need a youngin' to pick it up for me." And Wes talks about how he's so impressed with Sierra's costume. And we see like just like a bunch of people coming into the party and stuff. And then Jesse and West chat, and Jesse's like talking about how it's weird that Amanda is acting like it's normal, but he also is like, I can't believe Sierra said that Amanda and Kyle should split up. And then maybe I need to go back and watch this because West was like, do you get it? And I was like, does he mean like do you get Amanda and Kyle? Like, do they work? Do you think they
Yeah.
work together?
I got the impression that what he was saying, because Jesse was being very naive about it, and West was kind of saying like, at least in real time, I took it as him being like, yeah, I know that you're shocked, but like, can't you kind of see it if you step back from it?
Yeah.
But I
I
don't know.
wasn't sure. I was like, it could go
He
either
phrased it
way.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse. I agree. Jesse was being pretty naive.
I just thought it was
And
funny the two of them sitting on a couch together breaking down how married couples should be.
yeah, like
Yeah.
they have any idea.
Yeah.
And then we have a confessional from West. He's like, I've witnessed nothing that would justify Kyle's behavior. And I mean, he didn't say it exactly those words, but and then he's like, also if I see someone give a really nice gift, it's probably because they've been shitty in every other way possible. And then we get the flashback to 1 week ago of him
Yeah.
of Kyle giving Amanda the watch. Um
And he brings up Wolf of Wall Street, which is
yeah,
hilarious.
he's like, yeah, like when the guy starts banging all the hookers every day and then buys his girl a yacht. But
Yeah.
I'm like, West, who hurt you? Like, just because someone gives someone a gift doesn't mean that they did something bad. Because he says gifts are bad.
I think it was just a joke. I don't,
I
yeah.
know.
But it was
But
pretty funny.
yeah, I was like, that's a little extreme.
Yeah.
I like gifts.
Yeah. That's a hot take to say that gifts are bad.
Yeah. And, Jesse's like to West, are you going to talk to Kyle? And West is like, for sure. I can't not address this. I'm like, I mean, you could. It's not your marriage, but I mean, you have to because of the show, but
Right. Yeah, West kind of took on this role this whole episode where he's
yeah.
like, "Look, I don't want to get involved, but they're both my friends, and I live in this house, so I don't have any other choice." It's like, no, you probably could stay out of it, but
This coming from the guy that like wouldn't get involved in his own relationship uh
yeah,
on camera to talk to Sierra last season essentially. So, yeah, it was a little bit strange. I agree.
it's a little weird. Yeah,
But I do like that he was checking on Amanda and trying to have her back. Maybe it's like him and Amanda are closer now since they spend so much time together, according to Kyle. So
right.
maybe they're closer friends now than they have been in previous seasons.
Yeah, yeah. Who knows?
All right. Well, my MVP was Sierra. I mean,
Uh,
duh. Carver Brown. You couldn't not pick her.
yeah,
I mean, goes without saying, the
right.
costume was amazing, and her character to go along with it
Yeah.
was top notch.
Spoiler alert: I did not pick Kyle. No, definitely went with Sierra. But when it was Amanda's birthday, I said, "Oh, she's the birthday girl. Obviously, you got to go with her."
Yeah.
But despite being his birthday, Kyle did not win this episode.
What's the opposite of the MVP?
LVP.
The LVP? He's the
Yeah.
LVP. Okay. Well, before sandwiches, I think red flags. So Kyle, he was the red flag of the episode.
Just the person
he
Kyle was a red flag.
he was my red flag this week.
Uh, that's a good answer. I would agree. I I was gonna say the Lindsay conversation in the kitchen with KJ. Again, I'm being overly critical. I know it's reality TV and she's got to stir the pot, but
Yeah.
I'm just being defensive of Kyle, of KJ. I mean, not being
I
defensive of Kyle.
uh I also said that it was a little shady of Bailey to go to Lindsay and position things. Like,
That's a good
well,
point.
Dara walked in one outfit and came out like an hour later in another. So what do you think happened?
Yeah,
Which she has no evidence of anything happening.
right. Yeah, yet again, it's not actually Lindsay. In this case, it was Bailey. In the other case, it was West
Yeah.
who was like, "Oh, I
Lindsay's
really want to
just,
say something," but Lindsay's like, "I'll say it."
yeah, Lindsay's doing her job. She's
Yeah.
putting a target on her back, as they say in Big Brother.
Yeah. No, Big Brother is a good call because it's like whenever you give somebody information, you just have to assume that that person's just going to go and tell everybody else in the house. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So they're doing it on purpose. Um,
yeah.
yeah, they're like, okay, we'll tell Lindsay because Lindsay tells everybody everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, so my sandwich rating. So then I have to go
Yeah.
first for that, I guess.
Yep.
Okay. So I gave it 3.75 sandwiches, but I'm putting a little bit of like potato chips in my sandwich to like give it a little
Like the
extra something.
crunch. Okay.
Yeah.
That's solid.
Maybe I would go, maybe a jalapeno kettle cooked chip.
Spice.
Yeah. Nothing. This episode like took place over basically less than 48 hours, right?
Hmm.
Because we had Friday night into Saturday afternoon
Yeah.
set up for the party. So it was kind of like, okay, did anything really happen? It was like we had Kyle's tantrums.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a fight. And then we had Sierra's amazing costume and everybody's amazing costumes. And then the anxiety of like KJ and Dara. There wasn't a lot else that happened.
True.
Party setup.
True.
So I think next episode's probably going to be even better because we'll get all of the party scenes. But yeah, so I wasn't fully at a 4 or higher because of that, but I enjoyed the episode.
Yeah. Well, now I feel like I went too high, but I went 4.25.
Okay.
I couldn't hold myself back. The costumes were too
Yeah.
good. I really enjoyed that, and like the pills that they were throwing in the pool and all that, and like it just the whole party setup and costume reveal and all that stuff. Whatever. It was too good for me to dock it for some of the downsides, I guess.
I
But
know. I almost went with 4 sandwiches, but
we
okay.
averaged at 4.
Yeah. Again, I love the costumes. That was, I mean, I've been looking forward to it all season from the season trailer. So it was good to see that finally happen.
But no, I think you're right though. I think next week it was a very strong setup episode.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
It was, last week was a kind of mediocre setup episode, and this was a stronger setup episode.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we should let people know next week we probably won't have an episode because we're going to be on vacation. So if you see us off for a week, don't worry, we'll be back. We'll cover episode 9 and 10 probably together.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But, if something crazy happens, who knows what we'll do. But, we'll be off a week. So we'll be getting our own early taste of summer on spring break vacation.
There you go. Cool.
All right. And that wraps us up.
See ya.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow the show on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen and leave us a rating and review.
And if you have questions you want answered this season,
Send them our way because chances are Pat's wondering the same thing.